Back with you now live here on In Focus, Newzroom Afrika, channel 405. We are live with you where literature icon, poet and activist Don Mattera is being laid to rest. Some live pictures there that you're seeing from the Westpark cemetery. And live for us on the ground is our reporter Ahmed Kaji. And Ahmed, I believe you are with Lebo Mashile, who's also an iconic poet here in the country who has come to pay her last respects to Don Mattera. Take us through some of what we have seen so far in the program, and what are some of the reflections of those who are attending this ceremony?
Yes, Tabo, the line is slightly bad with the noise around here, but the final burial rites are taking place here at the Westpark Cemetery. As I mentioned, the family members, the close family members, 5 of them had went down into the grave to lower Don Mattera's body and placed them in position as per Islamic regulations, and then he subsequently was buried with the sand being thrown over just about 5 minutes ago as well. But I'm going to bring you to the conversation now. Lebo Mashile, a poet, she gave us a small presentation earlier. Let's bring her into the conversation. Lebo, thanks for your time. Condolences first for the loss on Don. What's your reflections on his life, and how big of a loss is this for South Africa?
I think this is a massive loss. Don's contribution has been immeasurable as a creative, as an artist, as a mentor to so many writers and journalists and artists, as a leader of the liberation movement, as someone who fought against apartheid, and someone who insisted on preserving the memory of what happened during that time. He was a champion of the people who shaped this country, the stories that we don't hear about in the news or in the mainstream press. Those are the stories that he made sure lived in his poetry. Even now, tonight, this is a traditional Muslim funeral, but he's brought so many people together. There are women who are present tonight. For me, as an African person, I've never been to a Muslim funeral. I've never been to a funeral at night. So even in death, he has people who wouldn't otherwise be meeting and experiencing each other's cultures. We're doing that by burying him this evening. So up until the last drop, he's a boundary breaker. He is an eclectic, complex South African who is passionate about building his country and building his people, by bringing people together.
Lebo, I know we are pressed for time. I'm just going to ask you, in terms of the work that he has done, yes, from a cultural point of view. Yes. You speak about the fact that his work was a lot about the struggle for freedom. How important is that then for young people of today to see that work and still be connected to our past?
Don said that you can tell a poet by the eyes, that poetry is the lens through which you see the world. And he saw the world up until the end through very young eyes. Don was young at heart. He always resonated with young people. Even very young audiences. As an elderly man, he were able to connect to his work because he speaks the truth, because he cares, because he's genuine, because he's fearless, because he tells uncomfortable truths in spaces where they need to be told, I knew him as somebody who was brave and courageous, as much as I knew him as somebody who was incredibly compassionate. So this is a major loss, and I hope that young people continue to be inspired by his work. It's as relevant now as it was 50 years ago when not even 50, 70 years ago when he started writing.
Lebo, thanks very much for your time. I don't want to keep you for too long, and once again, condolences for your loss as well.